Hey everybody, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be showing you how you can make your own DIY version of a pulley system that fits inside of your power rack. So all of these systems seem to incorporate the same few elements. One, you're going to need a loading pin of some variety. If you buy it from Spud, you're going to end up getting their nylon with the little metal ring in the bottom, and it works just fine. Personally, I prefer to have a 1.9 inch OD Schedule 80 tubing version. Rogue Fitness makes one, Titan Fitness makes one. I actually have the Rogue and the Titan, and I prefer the Rogue one significantly more than I like the Titan one. There's a few reasons for that, and if you'd like, you're more than welcome to watch this video about Titan fitness equipment that I regret. The second piece of equipment you're going to need is going to be an actual pulley. Now I have two different pulleys here. One of them I got used, and I found it at like a thrift shop or something like that for 10 bucks. And it's just a little worn brand snatch block. And I also have this one that I got on Amazon for $15 brand new. It is massive, but it's actually kind of nice, and I'll cover that why later. You're also going to need cable, which I have this 3/16 braided cable, and it's got a nylon coating over the top of it. You're going to need some cable clamps, which you can get on Amazon. And I even sprung for the super nice eyelet looking thing, which again you can get on Amazon. You can get like 100 pack of it for 50 cents or some stupid deal like that. After that, you'll need some carabiners, and then of course, last but not least, something to hang on to. One of the things that I failed to mention before that you're going to need is you're going to need some sort of system to either hook this up to a pull-up bar via some sort of wraparound strap. There's a couple different commercial options out there. Or you could also just get like a 5/8 inch eye bolt with a built-in shoulder, which is what I've done up here. And I actually use this significantly more than I end up using these straps these days. I mainly end up using those straps to do grip work with like grandfather clock grips or with the globes or grenades. As for this actual bolt, all this is a 5/8 inch bolt. I got it on Amazon.com. It has a shoulder built into it so that the eyelet doesn't actually sink up against the rack itself. It looks nice, it holds plenty of weight, and like I said, I use it more than I use anything else when I do cable work. So you've got your cable. This is a 3/16 cable. I got this at Lowe's, and I want to say that for more cable than I really need, probably right around 20 feet, 25 feet, I paid a grand total of maybe 15 bucks. I'll see if I can find exactly what I purchased, and I'll post it down in the description box below. Additionally, I bought this pack of steel wire rope cable clip clamps, and I got this off of Amazon. This was a pack of 10. These have a little 10mm diameter nut, so you'll need a 10mm diameter socket setup in order to actually tighten this. And what I like to do is I like to have 2 of these per one of these, which this is a galvanized galvanized something. I'll post it down below. You guys will be able to find it. The reason I can't tell you is because the description is Allegile M6 galvanized Imbles rigging. But this is how this works. You take the end of your steel cable, and essentially this is going to act so that you don't stress your steel cable by the carabiner pulling into it. I would say that if you're going to be using this setup at all for doing rows or anything of that variety, you're going to want one of these because this is going to extend the life of this, and this is a pain in the butt if you have to replace it more than once. What you're going to do is get a length of cable that suits your needs. The Spud Ink system comes with about a 6-foot cable. Both of my setups that I showed you earlier that are hanging behind the camera right now are both 6-foot setups, and they work pretty well. I have a 90-inch tall power rack. At times they're a little bit short, at times they're a little bit long, but again, it all comes down to how you end up setting up your actual rigging. The first step that you'll want to do is take 2 of these clamps and thread them onto your cable. And you can let them fall-ish out of the way. Take your eyelet, and this is where it's kind of hard. I've never understood how exactly some of these companies get that nice tight eyelet on this thing. I imagine they use robots or maybe the proper tools, which I hope I'm using, but I don't know. And what you're going to want is you're going to want a couple inches, but not too much, cable coming out the other end, because you need enough cable for these clamps to bite into, but not so much cable that when you're setting this up that it's in the way. I like to be maybe about 1 inch to 2 inches extended out the end, and then you're going to slide this cable clamp over the top of that. And again, what I'm doing is I am pulling this as hard as I can and then squeezing it with my hand like downward while I slide this cable clamp up. Take your 10mm socket set up if you bought the same ones I had, and go ahead and equally tighten both of the nuts. Just as a note, I've had these pull out before. If you watched my video on weighing Atlas stones, you can actually watch it happen. And what I was doing before I used a socket setup is I was just taking a combination wrench and just gurring it the best I could. It didn't work too well. Go ahead and just get the right tools for the job. Once you have the first one tightened on there, you want to make sure that basically this little eyelet isn't going to just come off on you, which mine is not going to. If it is going to, go ahead and loosen these nuts up and pull the cable a little bit tighter and do it again. Take your second cable clamp, saddle clamp looking thing, and you want a small gap, not too much, but like a nice small gap there. And really the second one is a little bit overkill, but I would prefer to have overkill than to have something slip out of place. Go ahead and tighten the second one into place. Just as a note, another note, so there's 2 ends to this clamp. As you tighten one end, it's going to pull the U-shaped joint closer on that one side, which is probably going to make the other side slightly looser. So the last thing you want to do after you have the end of your cable set up is go over all 4 of them and make sure that they are equally tight. And what you'll notice is that one will be difficult to tighten. You'll tighten the other side of the same clamp and it'll be easy. And when you go back to the first one that was difficult, it'll be easy again. But again, you want to get those as tight as you can without actually wearing through the shielding, which I'm not really sure is possible. It might be, it's definitely possible. But I'm not sure if I have what it takes. And there you have one end. Now what you'll notice is that we have about 1, 2, 3, 4, about 4 inches of lost cable. So if you needed a 6-foot cable, what you would want to do is cut it, if you're building it the exact same way I do, to about 6 feet 8 inches. That way your ends don't take away from the actual cable length. My plan for this one is I'm actually going to set it up so that I can make a lat tower. Right now the problem with using the pulley system is that you can't pull from directly underneath the anchor point, because you'll have to pull at an angle, because right underneath that anchor point is the weights, and obviously you don't want to pull that straight into yourself. So I'm going to try to create this redirect system inside my power rack for no other reason than I really like to overcomplicate the hell out of my garage gym. So in this video I showed you the different parts that you'll need. For instance, this snatch block, and the way this works is you basically fold it up, put your cable in, mount it. I showed you your snatch block, some sort of handle, because you're going to have to be able to pull this weight, a plate loading pin, because you need a way to attach weight to this. You could just use like a giant elastic band, I guess, kind of like how Rogue did with the slinger, but I think that loadable pins just kind of win the day for this one. You're going to need carabiners to attach all of your attachments. You're going to need steel cable, and again, steel cable is cheap. You'll need the connections in order to make the steel cable functional, and then you'll need to build up your cable so that it's usable in the system itself. I hope that you found this useful, or at least it piqued your curiosity to a point where maybe instead of buying a $100-some product from some company that does this, you can just make your own for probably right around 30-40 bucks. And it's yours, so when it breaks, you know exactly how to fix it. If you like this kind of video, please subscribe and watch some of my other instructional videos. If you have something you didn't like about the video, please tell me down below what you didn't like. If you just want to troll me, feel free as well.